Hey everyone, I'm teen writer Noah Barfield, author of that incredible, amazing action fantasy novel, Legendland Creep, which is on Amazon now, and I'll be providing a link for it in the description below. Or you can just click here. Either one works, so take your pick and then check out my novel. Now this is some transitional updates, but before I begin those, I just want to say that I do have a topic for this week, and it's growing pains. I've been inspired by growing pains, and that's what I'm going to talk about this week, so think about that while I go through the transitional updates. Now the transitional updates are, I thought to myself, hey self, I'm basically creating double the workload for myself by doing two types of videos, and they're basically the same thing. Yes, you are, self, that's a stupid idea. It is. Since I have been able to get Writer's Corner and Weekly Inspiration on roughly the same grounds, formatting and lengthwise, I've decided to combine them both and give you all the best of both worlds, while also simultaneously having the workload on myself. It works out for everyone. Because while I was filming Writer's Corner and Weekly Inspirations, I was roughly saying the same thing but with just minor variations in formatting that was causing me a lot of internal stress to try and find the differences and unique things between them. So I'm just combining them, and this is going to be Writer's Corner, with a little less facts, a little more inspiration, and I decided to keep it this way because, well, just Writer's Inspiration Weekly Corner are both stupid names. So, onward. Growing pains. I've been inspired by growing pains this week from the media I've been watching and the literature I've been reading. I have been inspired by all of the characters from the books, I've been reading the movies, I've been watching anime or animated shows I've been watching, as well as live action TV shows that just have really intense characters that go through a lot of growing pains. Arrow. And this has just really come to a head for me. I've been inspired by it this week. So, I'm going to cover 4 things about growing pains and then give some writing tips on how to do them at the very end. First off, I'm going to cover what growing pains are exactly. Second, how they're possibly useful and why you would want to write them. Third, the ascent of growing pains. Fourth, the descent of growing pains. So first off, a basic explanation of growing pains follows as thus. Your character starts at point A. You're pushing them as hard as you can to get to point B, even though they're dragging their feet. You're like knocking them out, chloroforming them, shoving them as hard as you can to get over there. And they're stuck at point 72x like a baby. Like a stupid, useless baby. It's the awkward transitional phase for your characters. It's basically the puberty equivalent of character development. It's whenever your character is trying to be a dragon slayer, but still is learning how to use the sword. Whenever they're trying to master pyrokinesis, but is very familiar with the burn ward. It's an awkward transitional phase. It is not the lowest point for your character. It's not the, oh my god, I'll never do this ever. I don't know how. Why? But it's more of an internal conflict and confusion, self-doubt, and it's just a lot of pain for them externally with, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or, with the relationships, or all of the above. Growing pains are fun. Second, why would I want to use these? How are they useful? It doesn't sound inspirational at all. It sounds depressing and sad and painful. Exactly. I mean, I love making my characters suffer. I don't know if that's just me, but I love dragging them through the mud or forcibly strapping a jetpack filled with explosives onto their back and shooting them up to new heights. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. Probably a sadist, I don't know it. Anyway, why you want to do this is because it creates a great relatability aspect, other than just giving them small, unique traits that people can relate to, or humanizing them through emotions or other forms of suffering. This is an awkward transitional phase for them that has a steep learning curve and is commonly mired in self-doubt and shyness and introvert or, passing things off through comedy. It's their awkward phase where they don't really know what to do. And everyone can relate to that. If you can't relate to that, then you're probably a superhuman being who deserves a lot of praise for just the amount of societal impact you will assuredly have. But many people know what this is like because we all go through growing pains biologically. I mean, that's my entire life as a teenager. That's everyone's entire life as a teenager, is a lot of biological chaos and tumultuous emotion and just fluctuation on many, many variables all at once every single day. That's the teenager's life. So younger adults can really relate to this because we feel it all the time. And older adults and older people can relate to this whenever they remember their teen angst form of how they used to feel. This is also inspirational because it humbles these people who are supposed to do great things or horrendous things. It humbles us and humbles them to show that they're going through this, something that normal people go through all the time, but biologically, or whenever you're transitioning to a new job, trying to learn a new sport, or immerse yourself in a new world, either media-wise or literature. Something that they're going through, and just allows us to relate to them on that awkward, I don't know what I'm doing level. Now third, the ascent of growing pains. What is this? The ascent of growing pains sounds made up. It kind of is. It's an actual thing, it's just never really been given a name. It's whenever you're taking your character to point A, and like I said, you strap a jetpack on them filled with explosives and shoot them to point B. You give them a true calling, a noble path, a destiny. You make them a hero, is what you're doing. You're trying to have them save the galaxy, stop the stampeding dragon, overthrow the dystopian government. Whatever you're doing, whatever your unique plot point is, they're trying to do that. They are the chosen one. But there's growing pains with that too. They don't know what they're doing. How are they supposed to become the chosen one if they can't even talk to a girl? How can she possibly flirt with the man she's supposed to stab if she's tripping over her own feet? How can you swing a sword and slay a giant fire-breathing dragon whenever it's so friggin' heavy? Commonly, the growing pains, whenever they're on a more noble path, is the steep learning curve involved with trying to become what they are, as well as the constant self-doubt and pressure that is just slowly crushing them, and it really comes to a head in their growing pains. 4. The descent of growing pains. It's like the ascent, only opposite. It's whenever you take your character over here, yeah, they're right here, and then you drag them through the mud and muck and filth of everything and reality. I think humanity has a sick, twisted dark side that loves seeing this happen to characters. It's why we like Batman. It's why we like Green Arrow from the new Arrow TV show. It's why we like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Because they started out optimistic, relatively, innocent or different. They had no idea or concept about the harsh reality of the world. And they're constantly shoved their face in that harsh reality. The growing pains of this are the conflict they have over they were a good person and now they have to be not so good of a person. They don't necessarily have to be a villain unless that's your role that you're going for, but they're more of an anti-hero, vigilante, bottom line gotta do whatever it takes. They commonly stop seeing the necessity of other people as something other than just something to use, so they have a lot of emotional strife going on within that. It's a lot of conflict internally. And they also probably get beat up a lot or suffer a lot of abuse or become a pariah, and that's something they also have to deal with. So if you've ever been an outcast, you can probably write this pretty well. So how are you supposed to write growing pains? How are you supposed to go about doing this at all? Well, growing pains commonly, first off, you need to base it upon growing pains that you yourself have felt, because that's going to come across as a lot more realistic than something that you've never felt or have no basis for. So any growing pains you felt biologically, any ostracization from them, or any job transitions you had to make, any sports you had to learn, whenever you tried to force yourself to immerse yourself in a new world, video game, movie, literature-wise, whatever it was, bundle that all up into a ball of confusion and angst and non-understanding and learning curves, and use that to write your growing pains for your characters. Second, you don't always need to have one pivotal growing pains moment. It can be slowly happening throughout the book, and probably should. How you can give them that self-doubt that is eventually going to culminate in their final decision of will they or won't they. You can either internalize that and have them just be naturally self-doubting, or you can have characters who don't fully believe in them, and over the course of their book, through small actions and through maybe larger battles or conflicts, they start to believe that disbelief. If they maybe can't save one person, but they saved all the rest, but it's that one person that sticks with them. Now, whenever you're going for a more negative, decent path, having someone pursue revenge is a great path to take. It's overused, but I really don't think you can overuse revenge. It's so many forms, so many variants. You can serve it cold or hot or steaming, whatever you want to do really with revenge. But it's a great motivational tool. Whereas if you're going with the ascent, you probably want to use martyrdom, because Nothing inspires great nobleness like having your sensei cut down right in front of your eyes. But this is a great way, actually, to inspire a nobleness within people, and that is the real difference between having an ascending character and a descending character, is you have to decide from the beginning how they're going to react, whether it's going to inspire this, deep, twisted, desire in them, this perversion of vengeance, or whether it's going to inspire them, greater respect and they feel a calling. That's the greatest way to describe it, and so you have to decide from the very beginning how you're going to make your character rise or fall. I hope this video has been helpful, because I found out some things while I was talking I hadn't even thought of while doing character development, so I'm going to put that to use pretty, well, right away actually. So I hope this video has been helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, concern, or praise, I mean the last one I love, please feel free to contact me at my website, www.arc-storm.com, or there are my social media links below. You can click any of those. Just leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, because that makes me happy whenever people do it, and the more people that subscribe, the more I feel like I should make videos because people are actually watching them. So don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends to watch my videos, and thanks for watching. Continue to enjoy.